Shabu.
Yes, and I happen to...
Ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-ba-boo.
I happen to be...
Ba-ba-ba-boo-boo-boo.
The only way to get ahead...
Any relation to Bing Crosby, pal? Shabazz, Shabu. What's your real name?
Well, my real name is Tony Martin, but that's something else. But you have to have a name like that, and I'm going to...
By the way, all the schools in Newark are now Shabazz. You know where Eddie Koch went to high school, West Side High or South Side High? It's now Shabazz
Well,
High.
the only way to get ahead these days.
That's right. You got to be Shabazz.
I can say my...
The Shabazz Bakery, everything's Shabazz.
Right, they came from Egypt somewhere. They never even heard of Shabazz in Egypt, but somewhere they came along. But, Bob, I'm calling about... I received a letter from the 48th Assembly District at the Republican Club stating about Rudy Giuliani. I mean, maybe you are more knowledgeable. Is it true that Rudy Giuliani has had discussions with the Liberal Party?
Yes.
Thinking about running along the Liberal Party ballot, and he's been supportive of guys like McGovern and other creeps of the liberal persuasion.
Well, that doesn't disqualify him in the year 1989 from becoming mayor.
Of course not, but...
The fact that he was a Democrat doesn't disqualify him. We had a great president who just left the White House after serving 8 years. He was a great Republican, but guess what? At one time, he had been a Democrat.
Yeah, but Bob...
There are a lot of us who, at one time, were registered Democrats. Does that make a person a bad person?
No, Bob, you're talking about... I know...
You're talking about a sleazebag by the name of Ron Lauder, who wrote out a vicious letter that proves that Ron Lauder's not interested in the Republican Party. Ron Lauder's only interested in damaging Rudy Giuliani, and he will stoop to any lengths he can. Yeah, I'm getting a little sick and tired. This third day in a row, cavones like you have called to ask about the letter you got.
Whoa. You referred to Reagan, of course. That was the same thing as like a Scoop Jackson of that type of Democrat, the old liners. That was one thing, but when you talk about guys that were going for McGovern, and he always prefers to be something...
You know, there are a lot of people who voted for McGovern who, in 1980 and 84, voted for Ronald Reagan. And I didn't know that if you voted for McGovern in 1972, that disqualified you forever from changing your mind.
Yeah, but come on, it's a big change of a mind.
Well, what do you mean, come on, it's a big change of a mind?
Well, it is a big change. It's a big swing.
I really don't see how that disqualifies anybody.
That's like going from Creek Gable to...
Oh, cut it out. Listen, you Gabon, get off my phone.
Wait.
Get off my phone. Get off my phone! I can't stand Gabons. I tell you, I just cannot take these Gabons. I gotta get out. I really do. I really gotta get out of here. I cannot take this. Here it is. It's only 27 minutes before 3, and I want to get out of here. Because I give them on the radio.
Well, but I'm saying, but a lot of people...
What have I said that's so awful, Joe? What have I said that condemns me to eternity in hell, Joe?
Well, Andy, could I ask my question, and then I guess you...
All right, Joe, you can ask your question.
My question is, I would like to have your political analysis or view on why is it that... Christopher Dodd of Connecticut and Hefner of Alabama has come out so quickly in support of the town nomination.
Well, first of all, he didn't come out so quickly.
One of the first Democrats.
This nomination has been simmering for a long time, and the debate has been going on for a long time, and we're in the final week. So I wouldn't say that Chris Dodd came out quickly. I would say Chris Dodd came out almost at the 11th hour. You don't need me to interpret Chris Dodd. Joe, may I respond? I thought you wanted an analysis. I don't believe that you need my analysis. I believe he stated his reasons very simply and forthrightly in his statement yesterday.
Oh, but surely you don't believe that, though.
I don't believe that?
Oh.
Well, how do you know what I believe and what I don't believe?
Well, that's just...
I believe that Chris Dodd felt that it was the honorable thing to do. He said, I owe him my gratitude. I don't owe him my vote. And I think Chris Dodd stands taller than he's ever stood before, in my eyes anyway, by virtue of his vote.
Does it have anything to do with maybe the fate of his colleagues there in the past?
He said so, you dope. Get off my phone, you low-life bum. John, you're on WABC. Hello.
Yes, Bob, I know you're a man that's against affirmative action. Maybe you can help me in something that I've been going through. I've been trying to get a job at the CBS Records. I've written to Mickey Eichner, and he says that, and I've been in the industry for maybe 20 years, and it seems like they have a policy of not hiring qualified blacks. I'm black and I'm qualified. Can you maybe give me some info?
You've been in what industry for 20 years?
The music industry.
What do you mean by, well, in what capacity have you been in the industry? In what capacity?
Working independently, doing independent productions.
Oh, productions.
Yeah, music production. And I'm wondering, since I know you're a man that's against...
Oh, stop it. Stop that. Stop the self-serving, idiotic statements. I don't know what the policy over at CBS is.
What makes you think it's self-serving, Bob?
Huh?
What makes you think it's self-serving? I'm asking you. Maybe you can help me give me an...
I would help you cross the street. Matt, you're at WABC. Hello. Hello, Matt. M-A-T-T. Matt.
Hi, Bob. How you doing today?
What's on your mind, Matt?
Listen, you brought up an interesting point earlier about the Geraldo Rivera show and talk shows of the lake.
He's such a phony. He keeps saying he's not judgmental, but today he sure was judgmental.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, I don't mind him giving opinions. Heck, I give opinions, but don't be a phony about it.
Listen, I was wondering, though, if you think that there's any legitimate odds of the Phillies winning the pennant this year.
On WABC Talk Radio, let's say hello to Merlin. There's that sicky guy who always calls asking a question about something that's important and then suddenly switches to sports. He's a sickie, but outside of hitting his head on the wall, I don't think he's harming anybody else.
Yes, in July, Mario Cuomo nominated Randy Gordon to be the New York State Athletic Commission chairman.
And there seems to be a problem there.
There's a problem. The problem, everyone agreed at the time that Randy was the most qualified by far, the most knowledgeable, the most honest, the most dedicated, the most experienced person that Cuomo could pick. However, according to a pig by the name of Nancy Lorraine Hoffman, a Syracuse Democrat, there's something wrong with Randy. What's his crime? Shame on Randy. He was born of white skin. She wants to make sure that there's, quote, adequate minority representation, whatever the hell that is, before she'll let Randy's nomination go through. I think it's an outrage, and I'd like to know when the people out there are going to say enough is enough, and we're not taking it anymore, and we've had it.
Well, I guarantee you this. When they really start doing that, then this idiocy, this nonsense will end. But until they do, it will continue. As long as people are afraid to say what I say, as long as people are afraid to say what you have just said, we will continue to suffer the consequences.
Well, you're the only one that says it, and we really appreciate it, believe me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And that's what has been holding up the Randy Gordon nomination. I know there are other things more important, but the governor did make a rare, wise choice in his selection. Ruth, you're on WABC. Hello.
Oh, hi there. We love you very much down here in Tom's River, Bob.
Do you know that Dover Township and, as a matter of fact, all Ocean County has just ballooned into wall-to-wall Bob Grant country within the past year, 18 months. I mean, it is so wall-to-wall, I'm embarrassed.
Now, don't be embarrassed. No, we love you. What I wanted to tell you is that Mike Lorenzo really is working for Winsinger. Winsinger belongs to the Institute of World Order and has gone to meetings with Ron Dellums and Cora Weiss and has met at the Riverside Church. You know what I'm saying? IPS.
Oh, yes, I know. Listen, Winsinger supported Jesse Jackson last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the way that is going. Because of this, they want to break up all corporations. And they're doing a good job.
Well, I don't think they're going to win this one.
I hope not.
I don't think they are, and I think that Winsinger is smart enough to know that if he pulls this secondary boycott stuff, a lot of people who are indifferent right now will be totally against the union. There's no rhyme or reason. A union has a right to strike. Yes, I acknowledge that, and it's been in the great tradition of the American labor movement. But secondary boycotts are another thing.
Yes, but when Winsinger tells Lorenzo things to do to bring things on and makes Winsinger look good, you realize what I'm trying to say to you, Bob? I mean, you're smart enough. I don't have to explain that.
No, you do. I'm not that smart.
Oh, yes. It's too lengthy. I could go into it, how they've done it here to Civic. I could do it to, tell you about,
you ought to be very happy. Civic-Geigy's going to fold up.
Yeah.
That's why real estate prices have gone down.
I'm happy.
And Civic-Gagi's going to relocate and take the 4,000 jobs with them.
Yes, I'm not happy.
Oh, you're not happy?
No, sir.
Oh, I thought you were happy. I thought you wanted Civic-Gagi out of there.
No, they had scientists there to prove the water was clean and that they were working right, but you know who was in it to break that corporation?
Yeah, I know. That opportunist end all opportunist, Mr. Russo.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, is he still a friend of the Marshal, Mr. Marshall?
They haven't said anything, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ruth.
Take care.
Thank you. Yeah, Civic-Gagi is going to move out. They just couldn't take it anymore, and they'll take 3,500, 4,000 jobs with them. But there's another blow for hysteria. Hysteria wins again.
Now, hi, Bob. This is Jim from Medford.
Yes.
Hi. I just wanted to respond.
Medford.
Medford, yeah.
Well, that's Bill Tinkler country.
Yeah, Bob Graham country, Dr. Tinkler country. I stopped in there to tell him you said hello one day.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he has a new boss. Her name is Mickey.
Yeah, I heard.
And let me tell you, boss is putting it mildly. When she talks, he snaps too, I tell you. He salutes.
Anyway, I wanted to respond to that confused young woman, Dakia, from New Jersey. Now, I went to high school between 1967 and 71. I learned all about Frederick Douglass, Benjamin Banneker, George Washington Carver, Dr. Ralph Bunche. My kids go to school now. They're 10 and 9. They learn about Martin Luther King and Crispus Attucks. And
what did Crispus Attucks really do? Look, I tell you, first of all, Crispus Attucks was a quadroon or an octoroon. And in other words, he was either 1/4 or 1/8 what they called Negro in those days. That's number one. Was he a nice guy? You bet he was a nice guy. Was he an American patriot? You bet he was an American patriot. Should we honor his memory? Yes. But what annoys me is this. Crispus Attucks, I believe, was killed at the so-called Boston Massacre of, 1775.
Right.
Now, in the history books pre-1965 or so, it said, on the Boston Commons, one April day, whatever it was, April 19th, 1775, the British Governor General ordered Massachusetts patriots, colonials, to disperse. The crowd refused. The British troops fired on the crowd, killing several and wounding many others.
Okay.
Now wait, I haven't finished.
Okay.
The modern version says Crispus Attucks leading a group of American patriots. I mean, they've turned the whole thing. It's become a Crispus Attucks story. And again, I don't want to take anything away from the man, but we put it out of proportion. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like rewriting history just to please some black racists.
Now, she mentioned something about President's Month and how everything was focused on the presidents during...
yeah, she was ridiculous.
And the problem with that is focusing on the presidents. The most focusing I did was seeing buffoons made out of our two greatest leaders, Abraham Lincoln and George Washington.
That's right.
I mean, there was a movie theater advertisement saying, we're advertising a movie where they had Lincoln saying, it's the most fun I've had at a theater in years. Now, what I wanted to know is if they had put Martin Luther King or a caricature of him on the TV saying, advertising some motel chain saying, I'd rather stay at this motel than the last one I stayed at, the blood would be running in the streets. They'd never get away with it. We could never do that. There's double standard.
Well, there is a double standard, and that little punk who called me with a phony name, she was baiting me because, first of all, to say that the so-called Black History Month is overshadowed by President's Day is ridiculous. It's absurd. And by the way, you mentioned the farce we make of it. How about that obnoxious jerk in the white tuxedo, the white tie and tails, who comes out saying,
Deal?
Deal? Did somebody say deal? And poor George Washington is there at Valley Forge having to put up with this nudge.
Yeah. Okay, and...
No, this is a double standard, Jim. And people say, they compliment me or blame me, depending on their point of view. And all I'm doing is pointing out this double standard.
I have a suggestion for your national exposure on the radio. I'd like to see you get on nationally. I was thinking maybe next time Rush Limbaugh goes on vacation.
John Tower has a better chance of becoming nominated than I do to go national. Thank you, Jim.
Hello, Bob.
Yes, Jim.
This is Jim, just south of Bob Grant country in Matawan, NJ. Second-time caller. I called you once when you were down at Philadelphia station. I was out this afternoon, and I just got back to hear your comment about Civic and Mr. Russo, and I had a situation this afternoon that nearly blew my mind. I took my mother-in-law to an automobile dealership where she had to get her alternator checked out. It cost $16 to have her alternator checked out, but what did they tack on? A charge just under $2 called DEP surcharge. And I said, what is this? And they said, well, in the state of New Jersey, DEP, the Environmental Protection Department, now comes in and checks automobile service stations, and we pass this on to the customer. And I don't know whether this is prevalent all over. This is the first time.
Where did you take your mother's car?
Excuse me?
Where did you take the car? To what place?
You want the name of the dealership?
No. You say it's an automobile dealer you took?
Well, they service the automobiles that they sell. And she had to get her alternator checked out, which was checked out. The bill came in about $16, which is...
yeah, so you said,
proper by today's price.
Yes.
But then she questioned, and I also questioned, what's this other charge for $1 and change? And they said, oh, that's the DEP surcharge. I said, surcharge for what? She had her alternator checked. You didn't empty your crankcase of oil or throw away a battery. And they said, well, no, we have to have our whole facility checked out from time to time, and we pass that on to the customers.
Well, doesn't sound fair, does it? Well, naturally, that's the key. No matter what, they pass on to the customers. In other words, the poor little schnook who has to come in, you, me, your mother, your mother-in-law, what can I tell you? Except it's another sneaky way that the state has of separating us from our money. And we keep re-electing those lawyers, keep sending them to Trenton, and they stay up nights figuring out ways to take more money from us. That slams the lid on things for today. Until tomorrow, Bob Grant reminding you your influence counts. Use it. WABC. It's 6 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Doug Limerick.
But Il Supremo went around listening to the hysterical Hannahs and becoming one of them. In time to come, you mark my words, I predict that people will regret what they did.
Okay, Mr. Grant, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Bob.
Yes.
Yes, hi. I'd like to talk about race relations, but first I'd like to ask you about a certain phone caller who calls you up all the time. I'm a bit curious about him. I think he goes by the name of Frank. He has a very nasal voice.
Yes.
And do you know who I mean?
Yes.
Okay. He's a very interesting character. Do you know him? Have you ever met him?
I think I met him years ago when I was at another station. When I say years ago, I mean maybe 15 years ago.
Oh, how old was he at the time you met him?
At the time, he was in his early 20s.
Oh, could you describe him?
I don't believe I could, Ed. I don't believe I could. Sam, you're on WABC. Hello.
Bob?
Yes.
I want to give you a little report on our friends over at the New Jersey Highway Authority.
You mean the sneaky 10-cent edition tomorrow?
10 cents? It's 40%. It's not that little thin dime that everybody thinks. It's a 40% toll hike to be voted on tomorrow. And the arrogance of these people, these unelected officials, by the way, who say, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, damn the commuters of the state, damn the state legislature who are considering taking the toll booths down. Damn them, we're going to charge you 40% more per toll. But the most interesting statistic, Bob, and everybody better listen carefully, if 70% of the people that take the Parkway don't use the tokens, you will have massive toll jams, massive car jams. And you deserve it, people. You deserve it because you've almost said, what's 40%? You know, everybody's got that little thin dime, that little thin 40% in our pockets. So what? Bob, would you join us tomorrow morning about 10 o'clock, and anybody who's interested, tomorrow morning, and watch the arrogance in action. Watch 7 unelected officials tell you, commuters, drop dead. We don't care about the statistics. Suffer.
Whatever happened to Assembly Bill 4171? Whatever happened to that?
It's there, ready to go to work for the public, Bob, but these people are saying the bridges are going to fall down. The road is going to collapse. We need that 40% increase.
My foot. Absolutely.
Can I cover another subject, Bob?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I cover another subject?
Yeah.
It's interesting that Senator John Russo now wants to place on the ballot a gun control referendum. And I have a suggestion for Senator Russo. Senator, come out in the street and let's fight. If you believe, as you say you do, in this gun control legislation, let's put on the voter initiative referendum that you claim you believe in, Senator, and you claim you're the power down there in Trenton, the second most powerful man in this state. Put it on the ballot. Put initiative and referendum on the ballot. Put your gun control law on the ballot, and put the mandatory verbal threshold. Let's see if all your lawyer buddies down there, Senator Russo, will allow you to do it. Come out in the street and fight the people of this state. There's a challenge for you.
Where are you going to be at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning? What are you talking about?
I'll be along with other members of United Taxpayers in New Jersey and people who believe that you better get up and fight at the New Jersey Highway Authority in Woodbridge, at their headquarters, at their plush headquarters.
All right, I'll see you.
Fight.
I'll see you there tomorrow morning, Sam.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. WABC, the arrogance of the crowd in Trenton is unbelievable, and I really, in my heart of hearts, cannot believe that we're going to take it anymore. I just cannot believe that we're just going to let them steamroller us. They have been in so many ways. It's an utter disgrace. And Sam Purley, the United Taxpayers of New Jersey, and a few other organizations like that, they've got to get together, unify the people. You know, we do have a lot of differences of opinion. There are Democrats, there are Republicans, there are liberals, there are conservatives, but there are a few issues we can all agree on. And with the exception of those individuals who are feeding at the public trough, it's high time the people of New Jersey said no to Trenton. But let me tell you this. Politicians have told me privately, they don't want to admit it publicly, although some have been lately, that the people inevitably will accept whatever they do to them. Are you one of those people? I hope not. See you at the, and I'm not going there just because it's convenient. I'm going there because it's important, at the Highway Authority office in Woodbridge, right off of Route 11. And you're on the radio with Bob Grant. Hello.
Yes, hello, Bob. Glad to speak with you. I have a comment also about the same subject Walt was talking about. You were talking a little bit before about arrogance, and I think that this is just one example of broadcaster arrogance. But I think it's more our fault than the broadcasters, since we no longer want to spend the time and the effort to read the newspapers in depth and draw our own conclusions. We want these anchor people to do the evaluation and regurgitate it to us. So I think we're basically lazy, and that these broadcasters and television in general has contributed to making us news morons.
You're right. You're right. You're so right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Bob, listen, on that agent, that drug agent that was killed today.
Yes.
I heard the guy they're looking for was, he was let out of jail on parole or something like that.
That's right. Never fails, does it?
Unbelievable. And I heard that Senator D'Amato was a witness for him.
For the guy out on parole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I heard a police officer called up on another radio station,
Right.
and I couldn't believe he was saying that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Well, I don't believe in parole, as you well know.
they should make an island somewhere and just dump these guys out there.
Yeah, we're going to have a fantasy hour sometime and talk about that island.
I think that's going to happen. That's the only thing.
Really? Okay, you're more optimistic than I am. Thank you, Chuck.
Bye-bye.
Josh, you're at WABC. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Grant. I'd like to talk to you about the depleting ozone layer for a moment. From what I hear, this could cause serious drought, skin cancer, and possibly flooding in some of our major cities in the future. And the things that are causing our ozone layer to deplete seem to be aerosol cans, our cars, we're driving big luxury cars. If we cut down the size of our cars, it could help to cause less damage on the ozone layer. Why isn't anything being done in government to warn people about this? And, I don't think we need...
Well, first of all, in the United States, there's no more the propellant that is used for the aerosol sprays. It is that propellant that goes a long way toward depleting the ozone layer. Hopefully the rest of the world will adopt the same policy. But remember, we're just one of 159 countries in the United Nations, and if we stop, that's fine, but the rest of the world's got to stop also. As far as the...
How do you feel? Maybe we should set an example. I mean, we don't need...
Well, we've done it. I'm telling you, we've outlawed the propellant that has caused that. Aren't you aware of that?
What about cars, say, refrigerators and air conditioners?
Well, now, there you have a problem.
Get rid of them, but you can do things to minimize how much damage they cause.
I couldn't agree with you more. Let's hope we can minimize. Thank you.